Salutations everyone! So many leaders in the Alliance and Horde are out there. Somewhat recently, we gained a whole bunch of them through the allied races. And in a recent video I covered the leaders of all of the core races, and it did amazingly well, exceeding anything I had really thought about and doing in general, really. So, thanks for that, by the way. But as planned, we will still be covering the allied races and who exactly leads them. Just like before, I'll give a quick little summary of the lore on the character and how they became leaders. If you saw the previous video, you'll find that the Alliance shares a lot of the same leaders here, basically. But let's begin, shall we? The mysterious Void Elves, or Randori, are Blood Elves and High Elves who succumb to the power of the Void through various means. Most of them through Void Ethereals after journeying with Magister Umbric into a scarred realm. Illyria Windrunner, eldest of the Windrunner sisters and hero of the Alliance, ultimately saved them through her own power of the Void. Illyria Windrunner is their current leader, and her knowledge of the Void aids the Randori in a better understanding of the power that they wield, as she had taken the very power of a Void Naru for herself. The long-forgotten race of the Zandalari, or the Nightborne, once were held inside the city of Suramar and its bubble. They were once led by Elisande, whom had thrown her lot, and the Nightborne's lot, with the Legion, when they were left with little choice. However, Thalrisra, the current leader of the Nightborne, led a successful rebellion against Elisande and her followers, resulting in a sound victory thanks to the efforts of the Horde, Alliance, and the Kirin Tor. However, Thalrisra would find better common ground with the Sindori, and were ultimately invited to join the ranks of the Horde by them. The Great Arcanist would blossom a romance between her and the leader of the Blood Elves, Lorthamar Therin, where they would later get married. First Arcanist Thalrisra remains as the current leader of the Nightborne. The devoted Lightforged Draenei were aboard a separate ship from the Exodar when they left Argus, who found themselves with a powerful Naru known as Geya'rah, the Light Mother, who blessed them with her light into becoming the Lightforged after a great trial. The Lightforged were the main bulk of the Army of the Light, which directly opposed the Burning Legion. After the Legion was successfully defeated on Argus, the Lightforged joined the ranks of the Alliance, where they currently are led by Captain Faria aboard the Vindicar. Versatile and strong, the Highmountain Tauren are the descendants of the powerful and courageous Holn Highmountain, who was blessed by Cenarius himself. They were once led by Ulan Highmountain, but he lost his life to the betrayal of Dargrul, who used a powerful Titan artifact to do so, the Hammer of Khaz'garath. Mela succeeded her father as the new High Chieftain of the Highmountain tribes, and while she was uncertain on what to do at first, she gained her footing and rallied the tribes against Dargrul and the Burning Legion. Ultimately, she found unity and comradeship with the Tauren of Kalimdor with Bane Bloodhoof, and would join the Horde thanks to him. Since then, the two High Chieftains have formed a great bond, and Mela remains an ever-strong and wise leader for the Highmountain Tauren. Cunning and ruthless, the Dark Iron Dwarven clan is currently led by Moira Bronzebeard, who had gained her station as a leader once her beloved husband of Dagran Tharzane, whose name she would take after and name her young son after him, Moira Tharzane attempted to become the main leader through dark means. However, her hold on Ironforge would not last, and ultimately her life was nearly claimed for her misdeeds. She was spared, however, and was granted a seat on the council. There she would represent the Dark Iron clan, and has led it since. Though many have tried to overpower her position, she has remained on top. Someday her son Dagron II will succeed her and the rest of the council as the King of Ironforge. The diverse and strong clans of the Mag'har derive from an alternate Draenor that Garrosh, Hellscream, and Kairaz had created, not to be confused with the uncorrupted Mag'har of Outland. These orcs were under the leadership of the alternate Grommash Hellscream, who had originally led the Iron Horde in the past. Grommash led the Mag'har for many years with peace with the Draenei on Draenor. But something occurred there that resulted in war between the Lightbound and the Orcish clans. Eitrigg traveled to this plane in an attempt to recruit the Mag'har into the Horde. While he was successful, Gromash's fate remained unknown, as he remained behind to face Geya'rah, whom was the leader of these Lightbound Draenei. Overlord Geya'rah, daughter of Durotan and Draka in this timeline, became the leader of the Mag'har, since, and she vows to one day return to Draenor and take it back from the Lightbound. The wired and intelligent Mecha Gnomes are a group of gnomes that separated themselves from the rest of nomanity. Their king Mechagon, who had ruled over them for over 400 years, re-engineered his people and himself to be perfect machines, but took things too far and intended to make the entirety of Azeroth like him, without flesh. Mechagon's own son, Prince Ezrin, opposed his father's goals and formed his own rebellion against him. The rebellion proved successful thanks to the combined aid of the Alliance and the Horde. Of course, the Mecha Gnomes would join their gnomish allies, and together they formed a union where King Mechatork would rule over both of them, after they had saved him from death and saw the sheer cunning leadership and skill that he had. The ever-traveled Vulpera people are currently led by the shaman Kiro, who led his people from the sands of Uldun against the Sethrak Empire alongside the Zandalari people. After the events of the Fourth War, the Vulpera saw great opportunity and strength within the Horde. While they were initially rejected, they proved to Bane Bloodhoof that they had value and could support the Horde in various ways. The seaworthy human kingdom of Kul Tiran is known for their skills at sea. They were once led by Lord Admiral Dalen Proudmoore, who ultimately lost his life against Rexxar, the champion of the Horde, when he attempted to slaughter the Horde on Kalimdor. Since then, his wife Catherine Proudmoore has been Lord Admiral ever since, and led her people for many years after the Third War, leaving the Alliance after everything that had occurred in Theramore. Catherine had disowned her own daughter initially by hearing of her betrayal, but over time she learned to forgive and love Jaina once again. For Jaina's constant hardships over the years and strength to endure, she was ultimately named Lord Admiral by her mother, a powerful magus of the Kirin Tor trained by Antonidas himself and a survivor from the Scourge at Lordaeron who took part in thwarting the Legion countless times over. Jaina was a perfect candidate to lead her nation of Kul Tiran. The long-standing Zandalari Empire was once led by King Rastakhan, who had ruled the Zandalari people for over 200 years. However, he would be betrayed by his own advisors, and his rulership was nearly toppled over by the Prophet Zul, who had been trying to recreate the Troll Empire but kept failing. Ultimately, Zul would lose his life twice, and the Zandalari Empire would endure. The Horde, at this time, sought to have the Zandalari become their allies, and aid them in their efforts against the Alliance. While the two would help out each other, it was only solidified that the Zandalari would join alongside the Horde when King Rastakhan was slain by the Alliance. Princess Talanji, now queen and the only daughter of Rastakhan, had not only embraced the Horde, but searched for their aid in the first place. She accepted the Horde as their new faction and as their allies. Loa too would both bless and trial Talanji as their new queen of the Zandalari people, where she has remained since as their leader. Alright, that was all of the current playable allied races of the Alliance and the Horde and their leaders. I hope this video was quite informative and helped you out with getting to know just who is in charge of your favorite allied race. I'll probably do something like this again in the distant future when we get, or if we get more allied races, when they are added hopefully. Or if a change in a leadership occurs to any of these guys. Here's hoping for some more allied races like the Broken, Magnathal, and the Tuskar someday. I also hope the allied races become a little bit more relevant, especially with Talanji and Geya'rah. Those two I think could definitely use more of a spotlight. From the overwhelming feedbacks from others, I do think I will be doing some more videos like this in the future. I'm going over the leaders of certain factions and groups all around Azeroth, Draenor, and beyond. It's pretty fun, and I do like talking about the lore, and I do like talking about leaders and characters and all that. It's right up my alley. If you guys like this video, feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe, and all that jazz. You can join us on the Discord for some talks as we talk about all sorts of stuff and things. You can also support me on my Patreon like these amazing folks here. But until next time, my friends,